Okay, so we have now a table that has their income and expenses for January through December projected for this year. What we'd like to do as well is let us go to the bottom. And we want to put a value down here in cell, let's first merge A33 and B33. So I'm going to merge and center that. So I'm going to go to the Home tab. And I'm going to go to Merge and Center. And then I'm going to type in there net cash flow. And let's put a style to that. Okay, do you guys remember how to do a style to that cell? We can go onto that, go up to cell styles, and I'm going to pick, let's do accent 1. Guys with me? Now I want to figure out net cash flow. So there's our income, there's our expenses. What's the formula I want to put into C33? What's the formula I want to put into C33? Zach, what do you think?
C21 minus C32.
Sure. So I'm going to take the income minus the expenses and have our value there. I'm going to do the same thing for January through December, so I can either copy and paste it, I can drag it over. We want the relative addressing. There you go. Now, I'm probably real concerned about what months.
January, August.
Yeah, I'm really very concerned about months where my net cash flow is 0 for whatever reason, right? So what I'd like to do is make those stand out. How can I make that stand out? And I could just go and highlight January and August, but if things change in this spreadsheet, right, January and August might not be trouble anymore. Maybe I get my tax return in January. So how do I want it to change so that it stands out even if data changes? Colin? Yeah, let's put it in a conditional format. And let's put it in a conditional format that says, hey, if this thing is less than 0 at any month, highlight it somehow. So I'm going to highlight that whole range, go under conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, and if we're going to go to less than, and if it's less than 0, so I'm going to put 0, I guess light fill, red fill with dark text, red's dangerous, so boom, we can see August and December. If something changed along with our spreadsheet, hey, and those were no longer problems, the formatting would go away. If February became a problem, perhaps, February would now be highlighted. Okay, that's the beauty of conditional formatting. Shane?
I typed in the equation just to get the net cash flow.
Uh-huh.
I did it right, but how do you drag it across the board to simply, that way you don't have to go through and do it 12 times.
So, Shane, you have this. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
and I tried to do it, and it came up as wrong numbers.
Okay, so you have C21 minus C32 in that?
Yeah.
And you have negative 2360?
Yes.
Okay. So we want to copy that same formula over here. So a couple ways we can do it, Shane, but the easiest way is see when I'm on that, see the little square at the bottom
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
If I get on that, make it a cross, left click, hold down my left button, left click button, and drag it, it'll copy and paste that formula down there by default.
Yeah, I just did that again, and it's coming up as like 4,100 for like every single one. It's weird. What's your equation for the first one?
It is
Double click
C21 minus C32.
Do you have like equal sum?
Nope, just, you can see it right up here, Shane, C21 minus C32.
Alright. Alright, that should be able to
Are your values up, Shane, are your values up top on the same
yeah.
as mine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think I can get it right now, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go up. We want to fill, there's a little table up here. We want to figure out the total, the yearly, so we get a feel for what's happening here. So there's a little year-end summary where I want to total up my income. Let's enter this with, let's do this a little bit differently. We used insert function. Let's do equal, and then let's type the S. Okay, you see how it says, all right, what's going on here? Do you want second? Do you want sin? You want slope? You want small? You can type in sum. I want sum here. And what's nice is, parenthesis, it starts showing us the arguments that we need. And in this case, I want to sum the income. So I'm going to put in C21 through, I think it's N21. C21 colon N21. If I hit enter, it's going to tell me the total income for the year is $51,000. That's not too bad. We want the average, the minimum, and the maximum. Okay, so I could type in, and there's a lot of different ways to do this. I could type in equal average, and then put in that same range. I could type in equal min, that same range, equal max, that same range. What might be a better way to do that? Maybe it's not a better way. It's the way I would do it, but maybe it's not a better way. Go ahead, Robbie.
Use the auto sum feature.
Well, I don't want auto. Well, I guess yeah, we could do that, but the auto sum's not going to work. The reason auto sum's not going to work is because it's not in a column. It's not in a row. It's going to try to auto sum 51,000 or auto average that. Yes, Colin. Well, I could do that. Okay. Well, I could I could do this. I could type equal. We know average. Oops, AV average, and I could say, what is it, C21 through N21 again. And then I could do equal man, equal max. Cordell, you got a question or an answer?
No question. What's the
Okay.
difference between like average A, average if, and average ifs?
There's average if is a conditional. It only averages if it's a certain number. Average A, the A's are like how it deals with blanks, okay? But just use equal average for now, okay? What I would do though instead of this is I'd go back up to my original. This maybe isn't that big of a time savings, but all these formulas have the same basic thing. They have C21, N21 is definitely going to be the range, right? And it's a different function, equal average, min, max. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to take C21 through N21 and make that static with the F4 function key. I'm going to copy that down to those 3 rows. And then I'm just going to edit the function. So this one's equal average. This one's going to be equal min. This one's going to be equal max. I don't care how you do it, but we want to do the same thing for the expenses. So that would be, we want to sum average, min, and max, row 32. So from C32 to N32. So, however you get there, please. So you should have these values. Shandy, you back to straight here?
Yeah.
Okay. I shaved it, I apologize for that. It's kind of what you shouldn't shave. Not meant to. You get a little insulation on your face. Okay, we all good? All right. So a couple things now. So we have, I think Diane at some point gets a raise. Let's update during the school months. She's making now $3,100. So update that, and we'll see. What's nice is because everything is predicated off of that. Everything is referenced off of that. We don't have to go down and change all these. This automatically gets changed. That's the beautiful thing about spreadsheets, right? If it's, it keeps updating, you don't have to do another scenario, okay? So we want to build a little monthly savings, okay? We want to know where Diane's at, Diane and Glenn, or whoever this is, at any given time. So a couple things we want to do. This is going to also span the years as well. But I want to show you a neat little feature. It's called autofill. And let's just go to a new worksheet tab just so I can show you some of the things it can do. And then we'll come back to this. So if we type in, let's do 1, 2, 3, okay? And then let's highlight 1, 2, 3. And if I drag down, okay, you'll see it'll automatically get what I'm doing. This isn't a reference, this isn't a cell. It says, hey, you want 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, sure, okay? Now after I autofill, you see that little, I don't know what you call it, little spreadsheet looking thing down there? You guys see what I'm talking about? If I click on that, okay, the little drop down, it shows me what did you want me to do. This is like kind of after the fact. It assumes that I want it to autofill, but I can fill without formatting. By default, it fills with, figures out the series and completes it and copies the formatting. I could say just copy the cells. If I said copy the cells, it would go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Do you know what I'm saying? What I did was fill series. So let's just show you what copy cells would do. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Really, I want to fill series, so I'm going to go to that. I didn't really copy the formatting. So it's nice, but what's really nice, it's nice for things like this, but what's really nice for is things that, we know, for example, let's say we start with January. And I know I want all 12 months of the year. So let's drag that down. And you see it recognizes what's after January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So, I can fill down that. So I don't have to type in, every damn month. And if I'm using the abbreviations for January, JAN is pretty standard, I think. The same deal applies here. So saves me a lot of time, a lot of steps. I don't have to type those months. As well, if I am, maybe looking at the 15th of every month. If I type in maybe, do 2 of these so it gets the pattern. But if I type in, I don't know, January 15th, 2014. Oops, I should have put a space there. February 15th, 2014. And now if I highlight both of those and do autofill, you can see it'll keep the 15th of the month. It recognizes the pattern there and it'll autofill appropriately. Even things like, the days of the week as well. Do the same deal with that. That makes sense, right? Monday, Tuesday through Sunday, we can do that. Even things like this, if I do, region 1, and maybe I have 10 regions in my firm. If I use autofill for that, there's the 10 regions of the firm. So I don't have to type in, region 1, region 2, region 3, region 4. I don't know, making a school. It also does like first. So if I type in like first period and then drag that down, it's going to get that, there's 8 periods or, however I want to drag down as well. Okay, so it can be a big time saver in a lot of different ways. Can do time as well. I could do like every hour and it'll autofill that. So a lot of time savers in a lot of different ways. Any questions on that? It doesn't just have to be a region or a quarter. I could type in MECO 1, MECO 2, and it's going to do MECO 3, 4, 5. You know what I mean? So it figures out that there's a number in there or some series in there and tries to replicate it, okay? Let's go back to our budget then. And I know I could just copy January through December from up here, but let's just see that we can use this autofill feature. So I'm going to put in January in cell C35 and then swipe it across and autofill the other 11 months, please. And I would like this to have the same kind of formatting as up here, and I want to do it as quickly as possible. So how do you recommend I do that? What tool, Colin? Sure, let's highlight, what is it, cells C through N18. Go to our format painter, and then paint down here in the row 35. Guys with me? Okay, let's go up to this area of the spreadsheet. We have a savings account. I guess we have 2 savings accounts. We have a main, and we want to start saving for our home, okay, which we didn't buy yet. So what I'm going to say is at the beginning of this deal, okay, we have a starting balance of $4,000. Okay, so put in 4,000 there. And we don't have any in our in our home fund at this point, because that's what we're talking about. But I'm going to auto sum that anyways, okay? So 4,000 plus 0 is 4,000. You guys with me? Okay, so that is in what? K5, let's say. So K5. So we want to figure out anything any excess we have in a given month, net cash flow, we're going to put it into our savings account. And if we have a deficit, it's going to come from our savings account. Okay, so we want to figure out what's in our savings account at any point. That's what our family works off of, is that savings account. So the first thing I want to start over here in C36 is my starting balance of this deal is K5. So I'm going to put in here equal K5. And deposits would be from my income, so that would be equal C21. Withdrawals would be from my expenses, so that's going to be equal C32. We don't have any transfer to our home savings account yet, so just leave that blank for now, okay? Or put a 0 in there if you'd like to put something in there. We're not taking any money and putting it from our savings to our home account, so maybe just leave a 0 in there. And then I want to figure out the ending balance, the end of January. So I'm going to put in a formula here. So what would this formula look like? Equal what? My starting balance, which is C36, plus what? My deposits, which is C37, minus, if I take money, my withdrawals, which would be C38. And if I transfer money to my home account, which I'm not at this point, but I may, would be minus C39. So at the end of month 1, I would be down to 1940, which makes sense, right? I start with 4,000. My net cash flow is negative that month, so I'm down to 1940. But I want to project this forward, okay? So if I copy and paste just across or drag this across, it's not going to be quite right. Why? Why is it not going to be quite right? If I copy and paste, just drag it over, what do I want specifically to catch up on in, what is this, D36? What do I want in D36? Go ahead, Robbie.
January's ending balance.
Yeah, right. February's starting balance is January's ending balance. Yes, and I want to repeat that pattern. So if I go up here to D36, I'm just going to say equal C40. And actually, I think this is going to, everything else here is okay to just copy over. Because that's still, right, that's still referencing February's deposits, withdrawals, transfer to home still 0. So we're good there. Does this make sense? Now, I want to drag, because I want that pattern to repeat. I always want the previous to fill that. So I'm going to take February, cells D36 through D40, highlight those, and then let's drag all those over. Ooh, I have a little bit of an issue, huh? Thought that was a series. I'll fix that. Guys with with me? Okay, so we want to look at, so we're going to go over to this home savings projection. There's all kind of stuff that book asks you to do about, you know, merging cells and formatting. I don't care. We're just going to do the nitty gritty here. And we want to try to think, you know, about how much we need to save and how much we have to put away every month. Kind of do like a what if analysis table here. So let's say, and I could put the headings here, but that's not really the crux of this issue. Let's go to this home savings plan deal and go to cell B4. And let's put in 12. And this is going to be like the number of months I save, like years. 12 months, 24 months. So I'm going to put in 24. And let's say I want to go down to, I don't know, 5 years worth of savings. How would I do that? I could type 36, 48, and 60, but probably better to do what? Autofill, yes? You guys with me? And I don't know how much I want to save or how much I can put away. So I'm going to kind of look at different scenarios. So up here I'm going to put 500, 600. And let's go the whole way up to, I don't know, let's highlight those and go the whole way up to, I don't know, let's say $1,500. Okay. And what I want this table to be is if I save $500 a month for 12 months, at the end of that time frame, I'm going to have how much money? 12 times 500 or 6,000, right? If I save 60 months at $1,500, well, that's going to be $90,000, right? That's the values I want in there, okay? So let's take a look at this, okay? So if I go into, and this is where we really got to think about mixed references. If I go into C4, what formula do I want to put in there? What formula do I want to put into C4? Lorraine, go ahead.
Equals B4 absolute times C3.
Okay, B4 times C3.
Get that B4 absolute.
Okay, so let's take a look at this. What part of this formula do I want to always, okay, look at the B4. What part of this formula do I always want to reference to be static, I guess? The B or the 4 part?
C3.
Well, let's look at B4 first, okay? Of B4, there's two components. There's the row and the column. Which part do I want to adjust when I copy down, and which part do I want to always reference that area? What part do I want to make static? Let's go ahead. The B portion, right? I always want to be in the B portion. So if I take that part and I hit F4, it's like a toggle key, and right now both are static, which that would always access 12, which is not what I want to do. I hit it again. Hey, now it's always going to access 4, which is not what I want to do. If I hit F4 again, hey, now it's going to say, hey, always look in B. If I copy you down, stay B, but change it to 5, right? If I copy you down twice, stay B, but change it to 6, which is what I want. How about the C3 portion, Zach? So which part of C3 do I all want to stay static? No. I want the 3 portion. I always want to reference the value. The C part, if I copy it over, I want that to adjust because I want it to reference D3, right? So I'm going to take that portion, hit F4, until that. Okay, and let's just see what happens here. Copy this down. Hey, that looks right. Drag it over just to make sure everything looks good. And it does. 1,500 times 60 is 90,000. Okay. And they look pretty good here. Okay, so after this, I know we only have a couple more minutes, okay, but after this, we've looked at this and we said, you know what, we need to save $800 is what we want to save, okay? So $800 a month is what we want to save. This is, by the way, was a mixed reference, right? Because the cell had a mixed reference. If we go over to our budget, there's a value up here. I'm going to try to put $800 into my home savings. Okay, I'm going to try to put $800 into my home savings. So down here where we just had 0 populated, you guys remember that? I'm going to say every month I'm going to put in, what is that, L10. So I'm going to put in there equal L10. And I always want to reference L10, so what do I want to do with L10? Make it what? Make it absolute. Okay, now we're not going to have time to do this, but if I transfer $800 a month, we can see what's happening with my savings. Any months there scare you? What's that? August, yeah, August kind of scares me. That's kind of low for my savings account, right? If I have some kind of disaster. So what we're going to do on Friday is we're going to put in a conditional, basically saying, hey, let's only do this transfer if perhaps we have positive net cash flow that month, right? If it's a bad month, and we have bad months, let's not do it. So instead of just being 800, 800, 800, 800, let's put something in there that says only transfer 800 if it's a good month, if my net income is greater than my net expenses, okay? So to do that, we need another function. We need an if statement, okay? We'll work on simple if statements on Friday. Okay, so no homework except you still have some Module 2 stuff going. We'll try to finish up Module 3 perhaps on Friday. Hopefully you got something out of this. I'm not sure. Autofill's a nice feature. Format paste. We'll do some if statements. I'm not sure how many of you guys are familiar with if statements, but hopefully you're getting some new skills already out of this class. Okay. Stay warm.